Asket's Explanations Part 8. Billy continues to converse with Jmmanuel in the year 32 in or near Jerusalem. This is the final part of Asket's explanations. Edward says, "But now please just tell me how things stand with your teachings. How should they be described, and what is still correct within that which has been handed down? It is indeed said in the New Testament that you are the Son of God, and that God Himself embodies creation. Also, in these Testament texts, God is always even spoken of as the Heavenly Father, and you are spoken of as the Redeemer of mankind, and so forth. Everything is quite confused and often even absolutely illogical and paradoxical." Jmmanuel says, "Truly, you say it. I already told you that Judas Iscariot's text, which contained sections of my teaching, was stolen. This text will be the basis of all falsifications. Presently they are also continued, in a falsified manner, by the Pharisees and scribes, and are not completed according to my teachings. The reason that this is happening is truly, however, only in order to falsify them now, and even more at a later time, to the point of being unrecognizable, and also to use them against me in court. As I therefore speak and teach of creation, the texts are being falsely modified in such a way that mendacious words are put into my mouth, and I am supposed to have spoken of a Father in heaven, the gathering of a host of angels, and many other false things. But I have never done that, because these forms do not correspond to the truth. I have always faithfully spoken of the truth of creation as being of creation, and of God as being of God. God was never put on a level with creation by me, because God is a creature of creation, as are you and I and every other human. In His form, He is a king of wisdom and a ruler over human races, in the same way that a king or emperor also is a ruler over human races on earth. But creation is the immeasurable secret and the creation of every creation. It is omnipotence, knowledge, wisdom, love, omniscience and being. And my teachings speak of it alone, when I talk of it and its laws and recommendations, and of the power of eternity. Truly, this alone is the truth and nothing else. But, in your time, when everything is handed down differently, then that corresponds to an evil deception and abominable falsification on the part of the twisters of the texts and false teachers. Truly, the point of the falsifications lies just in the slander against me from the side of the scribes, Pharisees and priests, in order to have me die on the cross. But the further reason also lies in the fact that, through these false and twisted teachings, the humans of earth are to be beaten into serfdom, so that they are caused to succumb to poverty in regard to knowledge and reason, whereby they will be able to be shamefully enslaved through belief, so they can be exploited in evil ways." Edward says, "They are really very profound things. But how is it then with religion in general? I find that in spite of the monstrous falsifications, still various things handed down are quite good when seen from a religious point of view. And when I thereby speak of religion, then I mean really the religion itself, not, for instance, the dogmas and other false teachings. By that I therefore mean that which, in your language, you more aptly designate as cults. Apart from this cult, I find that which one must designate as religion quite good, or at least partly quite good." Jmmanuel says, "Truly, you are not inferior to me in my teachings. It is as you say. The reconnecting things, therefore the religions, are of great value for allowing the human to recognize knowledge. The reconnecting religious values always are, and remain, the values of the Spirit and therewith wisdom. But these religions must be free of misleading cults, from dogmas and false teachings. Normally, religions themselves contain matters concerning the knowledge of the Spirit, natural and creational laws and recommendations in pure forms, while cults, dogmas and other unreal teachings, which are based on unreal assumptions and assertions, are of purely human origin. That means that religious teachings, in the form where they are constructed by means of dogmas and other kinds of false teachings, are wrong in every respect, because the religious teachings themselves also become falsified through that which is not real. A religious teaching itself can only be valuable and truly instructive if it is free of dogmas and human false teachings as well as other nonsense, and is brought together with the religious. But in my time as in yours, religion is fundamentally wrong, and only religion alone can be useful. Religion always remains wrong for these times, and only religion finds true legitimacy. This will continue until the truth is again purified and religion can again be united. The reconnection and the joining together again, therefore, religion and religion, can only then constitute a harmonic unity when dogmas and other false teachings and all human nonsense is removed from them and destroyed. Humans of your time already recognize this profound truth and search out the pure religious facts in the false traditions in order to process them into a form which recognizes knowledge. However, their powers and cognitions in this regard are still in their very beginning stages, and largely they are still trapped in their cultic and false religions, whereby they become greatly confused and are not able to separate the chaff from the wheat. They certainly know about the falseness of the cultic religions and about the truth of the truthful religions, yet they are still too trapped by that which pertains to cults for them to be able to free themselves from them. So, unfortunately, they always still seek the truth of the truth on the wrong paths and do not recognize that this lies much closer to them than they suspect. Truly, that is unfortunately so in my time, and it will also be so in your time. Edward says, my thoughts are in accord with yours, but it will be very difficult to convince humans of this truth. Jmmanuel says, truly, that is so, but the truth will always have to be fought for. My time, however, is exceeded for today and I must go on my way. But we will see each other again and speak of very many things yet. Edward says, I hope so, because I still have very many questions. But in closing, may I still ask you one single question? Jmmanuel says, so be it. Edward says, when you came along here to Asket, Chichi and me, you practically simply passed over Asket with a conversation, and since then she simply sits here near us and listens to our words. Do you have certain grounds for behaving that way? And do you not believe that Asket must feel somewhat neglected by that? Jmmanuel says, truly, truly, these words arise from your feelings. The girl is in peace here, as are you and I, and we are all equal. Nobody feels neglected in our circle, so also not this girl here. But Asket has brought you here into the past for very definite reasons, because you should recognize the truth and not her. She herself knows this truth in every detail and therefore requires no explanations. Asket says, it is as Jmmanuel says. Edward says, then I am reassured. But what should we do now? Jmmanuel says, follow me and stay close to me. Explanation from September 5, 1975, Jmmanuel. That is also what happened, and we followed Jmmanuel and his group. During our conversation, Chichi had formed a friendship with Jmmanuel's followers, and, for the time being, no longer concerned himself with Asket and me. Explanation from September 7, 1975, Jmmanuel. Unfortunately, the further reports of the contacts with Asket must be interrupted here. The reason for that is that I can no longer locate the old reports from the year 1953/1964, as I have obviously hidden them too well. Should I no longer be able to find them, then I will have to discuss with Semyasa what should be done. Therefore I will try to come into contact with her in order to ask her. The end.